Hello, welcome, everyone. Welcome. Hello, I am your host, Latrice Huff, career and leadership coach to ambitious women of color. And I am so excited about today's topic. Y'all know negotiating is one of my favorite topics, especially I love talking about negotiating for women of color. I love talking about it. I love teaching you all how to do it. I love it. This is my favorite topic. This has been such a requested topic on like how do I negotiate my salary? How do I negotiate six figures? How do I negotiate in this job market? Like all of these things. We're going to touch a little bit on all of those. Today, though, tonight, I'm really going to share with you all my 5 secret tips on how to negotiate a six-figure salary as a woman of color in this job market. Okay. Things have slightly changed. So even if you heard me speak before, I have altered my advice a little bit. No worries. We're going to make sure that you all get this money. We have to adjust with the times, right? And adjust with the market to make sure y'all get this money. I am Latrice again. Hey, coming to you all by way of Texas. Drop in, say hey, hi, let me know where you're joining from. Like this, share it, tag a woman of color who needs to hear this, who is like, I don't know how to negotiate, or I want more money, but I don't know how to do it. This will also work. The tips I'm going to share will also work for negotiating in your current company. If you're job searching and you're in the beginning of the interview process, or if you are also at the end and already have the offer, these tips will work. Okay. And come on through with y'all questions. Y'all know I love the questions. I love helping you all. So if you have any questions or unique challenges or situations, be sure to let me know. All right. All right. We're going to get started. Before we do that, I have some exciting news. I am bringing back, I always say, like the much anticipated, my Fearless Branding Formula program. I have not opened this program up in like 6 months. This is my signature program. If you have seen any of my testimonials, my clients getting like these six-figure job offers, that is the program that they're in. The Fearless Branding Formula is my signature program specifically designed for women of color to help you land a six-figure promotion and increase your salary by $20,000 to $50,000 no matter the job market. All right. So to open that up, I'm actually doing a free workshop, how to land a six-figure promotion as a woman of color. If you are interested in that workshop, put branding in the comments and we will send you that link. Woo, woo, woo. All right. Let's get started, y'all. Look, I'm so excited because it's my favorite topic. All right. Tip number 1. All right. I have these tips and then I have like little side notes. Let me get to the side note before we even get into the tips, right? And I can't quite remember the study, but I have it in one of my slides. I have a whole like workshop about this. There was a study they did, and it showed that Black women and women of color leave $750,000 on the table. Like this is what you're leaving on the table throughout your career by not negotiating. That is nearly $1 million, ladies, $1 million. Imagine what you could do with an extra $1 million over the entirety of your career, right? Like it is so important that we learn how to negotiate. And it's not just about learning, we need to execute. Negotiating is a skill that can be taught and you can learn. You do not need to be born with this. Even if you were taught, don't talk about your accomplishments, don't brag about yourself. I heard that. Even if you heard you have to work twice as hard for half as much. No, we don't. We don't need to accept that. If I work twice as hard, then I want twice as much, right? Like we don't have to accept that. I'm going to check the comments too because I can't always see them on here. All right. So that's my little caveat side note, right? On that. Second thing, everything is negotiable. This is just my little caveat before we really get into the tips. This is what we're going to be talking about. Okay. Y'all know I got my little notes here. Like before we even get into the tips, right? Okay. Tip number 1, you need to know your number. What is your number? It is not enough to say 6 figures. That's not enough. Is your number, because that could be like 100,000, 101,000, 125. It could be anything. It's not enough just to say that. You need to know your number, okay? Not just know it, practice saying that number out loud. Like when you all show up to my free webinar, one of the things that I have you do is type in your number. Like you need to get used to typing it on the computer. You need to get used to speaking it out your mouth. My clients know we practice this because the first time you say your number, oh, I want my salary range is 115 to 125, should not be with the recruiter or the hiring manager. It should flow out like water. It should be flowing. No hesitation, right? You should not be questioning if you can get this, if this is my word, I don't know what they pay. None of that. So tip number one, you need to know your number and practice that number, okay? And believe that you are worth it. Believe that you are worth it. If you say in a number, but you don't really believe it, if you're like, I guess 125, like maybe it's negotiable, I'm open, right? I hear that so much. Like they know you're negotiable. That's a given. Everything is negotiable, right? Know that number. Number two, you guys, you need to research for real. Research. Let me tell y'all what I found. And working with women of color, we'll have a number and we're debating on this number. And then when you research, you realize you're not even making the minimum. You are the outlier on the wrong end of the bell curve, right? Y'all, when I tell you what, I have seen this time and time again. You're like, well, I'm making 87 now. So I think in my next role, maybe I should only ask for 95 or 98, but I don't know about six figures, right? You're doing all of this. We researching like, you should already be making 115. Like if that has happened, just raise your hand. Let me know. You're like, you should be making 115, right? So research and know what the market will bear, right? We are going to be realistic and we're going to be like, what will the market bear right now? So you want to research. And honestly, 9 times out of 10, you will find that you got a lot more room to go. And even in that current role, right? Even if you just went somewhere and did the exact same thing, you could get 10 to 15, maybe even $20,000 more. That's what we found. So do that research, okay? You can research a company, you can research the industry. The Bureau of Labor Statistics.gov drills things all the way down. LinkedIn does amazing research as well, like with the data. Indeed is starting to show like salaries even more. You have different states that are now required to show the salary range in the job ad, right? So there's so many ways that you can get this research. And this is my little side tip. Please don't settle for the minimum. You don't go in and do bare minimum work. Don't say, oh, well, the salary range is 115 to 137. So I think I'm going to ask for 117. No, that's not what we're doing. You look at your experience, your education, your achievements, your background, your branding, your unique contributions. You look at all these things in totality, not just what that number says. That's just a starting point, okay? So we want to also talk about how to use the research that we are doing, because I've seen so many people use the research to convince themselves to take the bare minimum, and that's not what it's for. Okay, we want to see what will the market bear, what is out there right now, right? What's that range realistically, and then we get to still decide where we want to fall within that. Okay, all right. Here's the thing. Number 3, you need to calculate your contributions. Y'all see, I got my board here. You need to calculate your contributions. And this is so, I hear this so much. I just go in, Latrice, I just do my job. My boss said I'm doing good. Or they're like, is that like my ranking? No, calculating your contributions literally means I saved the company $100,000 by finding this billing error. I reduced man hours by 27% through increasing this process, making this process more efficient, right? Like seriously putting metrics to your accomplishments. And you do not need to do this in every single job, but the more jobs that you have this on, the better it looks for you. And and I'm going to share why, right? when we, and because I really want to talk about articulating your value, that's number four. So I'm gonna just be honest with y'all. But it is so, so important. You need to know your value. I was watching this lady, she's like an HR consultant. I think she's like a seven-figure consultant. And she was saying, she was like, hey, these companies have already done the metrics on a roll, right? Meaning when they hire you, let's say they're hiring you for 80,000, they know that you're going to make 3 to 5 times, sometimes like 2 to 5 times your salary. That's what they can make off you. They've already done the numbers. That's how they get these positions approved, right? That's how they know, like, okay, we have the funds to hire. It is now your job to know your worth and be able to calculate that. So when they say, well, the budget is 80,000 or 80 to 100, you want to make sure you want 110. It is now your job to show your value. So now if you know the metrics that they are working from, you just need to reverse engineer. So this is what I share with my clients. Your resume should show that you have saved. I always say saved or generated, but it can be saved, generated, prevented loss, minimize risk at 3 to 5 times your salary. Okay, 3 to 5 times your anticipated salary. So if you're like, all right, I want, did I make my number right? Let's say you want 110K, right? You want 110K. You now need, your resume needs to show minimum that you've made 330. Saved, so this could be saved, created, generated at least 330. And this could be the totality of your career, okay? Because you're still bringing all that experience with you. But it is so important. It is so important to calculate that contribution. This is what I teach in my Fearless Branding Formula. We have an entire section on how to calculate your contributions because it is that important. It is even more important than it probably was, let's say, 4 years ago, that it is that important now. You need metrics on your resume, and you need to be able, and you need to calculate those contributions. Okay, like at least I would say in the last 5 or 6 years, you need to have these metrics on your resume. Now, if it's something you did 20 years ago, okay, or 10 years ago, that's fine. And you don't have metrics for, that's fine. But your more recent roles, especially if you're looking to get into a six-figure role, you should be having metrics on your resume. You should know how to calculate your contributions, right? And again, if you are like, Latrice, I am loving this. Like I said, we are opening up the Fearless Branding Formula on the 20th, right after that free workshop. So I'm doing the free workshop, How to Land a Six-Figure Promotion as a Woman of Color. And if you're interested in that workshop, just put branding in the comments. I got to put up a little thing. Just put branding in the comments, and we will go ahead and get you that link. Okay, but you got to put that in the comments for the workshop. I want to make sure that you all know this. All right. So yeah, put branding in there. You're going to get that free workshop. It's going to be on Thursday at 7 p.m. On June 20th. So we are sending out a private Zoom link. It's not going to be on LinkedIn. Okay. So get a private Zoom link. We're going to be coaching, telling you all the tips of tips of the trade secrets on how to land a six-figure promotion. Okay. But I'm telling you up front, calculating your contributions is one of them. All right. So let me get to number 4. And I already kind of gave you all a sneak peek on this. You have to be able to articulate your value. It's not enough to be like, okay, now I know my contributions. No, you need to be able to articulate it, what I consider in person and on paper. Okay. So it's not just enough to be like, I know my value, I calculate it. And let me tell y'all, some of y'all do this and y'all be like, I'll be like, y'all will tell me, be like, I saved the company 100,000. I'll be like, is that on your resume? You're like, no. And I look at y'all, I'm like, what? I'm like, do you talk about this in the interview? You're like, no, it doesn't come up. Mm-mm, mm-mm, mm-mm. You need to be able to articulate your value in person and on paper. And when I say in person, it could be a virtual interview, but you need to be able to get these words out and the stories out, you guys, okay? Like I'm telling you all what I know, especially in this market, we can't play anymore, right? Like we can't play. We need to be able to tell our story with metrics, show our impact, and show our value, right? Articulating your value. Let me tell you about articulating your value. This is one of the things when I speak to women on sales calls, just about every one of them, I'm like, we need to help you articulate your value. We need to help you articulate your value. I just about every one of them. All right, who's the LinkedIn user? It's just telling me LinkedIn user. Let me give you. Tell me. Put your name in so I can give you a shout out. Hey, all right. Is it Venencia? Let me know. Am I pronouncing it right? But it's a beautiful name. All right, we're going to get you that link. Hey, Amy, we're going to get you that link. Thank you all for joining in and watching. Let me know as I'm going through this which tips resonate with you all the most. But yes, we're going to get you all that link so you can join the free workshop on Thursday, June 20th. Okay. Because again, I hope y'all writing this down. Like when I've been giving gold, I've had people come back and be like, Latrice, this is amazing. They'll be like, I used your tip and it worked. I want to work with you even more. I'm like, yes, that's what I want. Okay. Thank you. So articulating that value, you guys, you have to. And let me say this. If y'all know a woman of color, a black woman, Hispanic woman, Asian, a woman of color who needs to hear this, tag her and be like, girl, Latrice said we need to articulate our value on paper and in person. Like at these now that the world has opened up, like we're now going to networking events. I just went to a recruiting conference, you guys. You need to be able to, I'm in a room with the recruiters. One of the things is they're not going to articulate your value for you to the hiring manager. You need to be able to do that. Oh, hey, Alyssa. Thank you. I know I was coming up LinkedIn user. Y'all, let me tell you something. We ain't playing in 20. We did not come to play in 2024. Okay. We came to do it. We came to make it work. So we're articulating that value. If anybody out there, if you can type that out, like articulate the like all of these tips are mute points if you cannot articulate your value. None of this is going to work if you truly cannot articulate your value. This is whether you're in your current role and you want to stay with your company, but just make more money, like get a raise or promotion that way. If you are interviewing, if you got the offer, like if you can articulate your value, yeah, tell Melissa, yeah, period. Like it's a mute point. It's nothing. If you can't articulate your value. Seriously, it's that important, especially in 2024. We cannot afford to play, right? Y'all done got me heated. I'm over here sweating. Okay. Okay. Number 5, you have to make the ask. You have to make the ask. You literally have to say, and you could just say this sometimes, is this the best you can do? Or I was really looking for something more around 125. Like it doesn't have to be this battle sometimes that people think about negotiating. It can be a softer approach of, hey, I was really looking for something in the range of this. Like, I love the offer. I'm excited to work for your company. I really was looking for my next move to be in the range of 125 to 140. Right? Like, that's it. I had one client like we because I believe like negotiating starts before you even apply. Again, that's why like a lot of the things I'm telling you all are before you even apply. Like knowing your number, practicing that number, articulating the value, calculating your contributions. Right. So I had a client. We went through all these things, and when they gave her the offer, she simply said, "Is this the best you can do?" That's all she said. And they were like, no. They came back with another offer. Like, once you have done these things, once you're confident, like you know your value, you're able to articulate that value in person and on paper, you calculated your contributions. What more is there to say? Like, it can be a very easy ask, right? It doesn't have to be this hard battle. My bonus tip, as I say that, You need to actually be prepared to negotiate, which just means there may be some back and forth. Like if they come back and say, "Hey, this position is only budgeted for 115," then I'd be like, "I really understand that. Can you please take these things back into consideration to leadership?" And again, you're going to restate that value. That's why it's so important to calculate those contributions. And in my program, the Fearless Branding Formula, we really get into articulating their problem too, and the problem that you solve. Like once you get that, oh, chefs get like they're like, okay, here's my here's the money, right? But you really want to be prepared to be like, it's okay if I have to go back and have a conversation, right? Because everything should be in writing. Even when you talk to the recruiter, I follow up with an email. You say something to the hiring manager, I follow that with up with something in writing, right? So just know that you want to be prepared, and there should be no surprises on either side. So this is what I call like dropping the breadcrumbs. So you know how I said the negotiating starts before you even apply? It does by your resume, your mindset, you knowing your value. Once you apply, and let's say the recruiter calls you and they're like, the salary range is 97 and you're looking for 102 or 105, right? You can say, hey, I'm really looking for, my salary range is really between 100 and 105. However, I do want to continue on with the hiring process because I love the company. I'm really interested in the role. That's dropping that breadcrumb. Like, or you can be like, I want to see more about, I want to learn more about the duties of the position, the benefits, right? You're like, hey, it's this, but let's continue on. I really think I can add value to your company, right? Like when we get jiggy in it, and when I do my longer presentations with my clients, we talk about like only filling in the gap. Like, what's the difference between the amount? Like, right? So again, you're dropping the breadcrumbs. So when they come with an offer and it's not your ideal offer, they're not shocked when you say, hey, can we do a little better? Like they're not shocked by it. There should be no surprises in the negotiation process, right? So just keep that in mind. Y'all know I get excited. This is we making this money in 2024. If you all have any other questions, I was like, I think I'm gonna stay on for like one more minute. If you all have any questions about like articulating your value, how to research, where you can find the research on salaries from, um, any of those things, let me know. If you have any questions about my program, the Fearless Branding Formula, or the free workshop that I'm doing on June 20th, go ahead and put your comments in. If you're watching the replay, give me a hashtag replay. If your team replay, because I always get a lot of people watching the replay, you can still put your questions in. You can still put branding in, and we will get that the link to you, and I'll answer your questions as well. All right, I'm gonna check my phone because sometimes you guys the questions don't the it doesn't always show up on my it doesn't always show up on my screen. All right. I just wanted to make sure I didn't miss anybody's question. If I did, just feel free to tag me, let me know. All right, you all have a wonderful night and see you all soon. I'll see you all next Monday. If you haven't done so already, be sure to follow me and hit the notification bell so you get notified when I go live on Mondays. Bye.